Istanbul, the largest city in Turkey, was called Constantinople for over 1,600 years. One of the most important cities in history, it has been the capital of the Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman empires. The heart of modern Istanbul is the old city of Constantinople, now the Fatih, or Conqueror district. Fittingly, large sections of this district have been designated UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The eastern half of the peninsula contains many must-see landmarks for visitors to Istanbul. The heart of Old Constantinople is the Sultan Ahmed neighborhood. Named for the 17th century Sultan Ahmed I, it contains the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, popularly called the Blue Mosque for its dominant color. Unfortunately, the mosque was under heavy renovation. Inside, scaffolding and illustrations of what it will eventually look like are visible. Next to the Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, Greek for Holy Wisdom, was the first mosque in Constantinople, a Christian church converted after the 1453 Ottoman conquest. Outside the mosque, worshippers cleanse themselves at the wudu before lining up with tourists to enter. The shelves of shoes show how many visitors there are. Built in the 6th century by Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, the Hagia Sophia is considered the pinnacle of Byzantine architecture and was the world's largest cathedral for nearly 1,000 years. Even though large sections are in need of renovation, the central nave is awe-inspiring. The iconic dome was the first of its kind in the world and has inspired both Christian and Islamic architects ever since, including Mimar Sinan, considered the greatest classical Ottoman architect. Chief Ottoman architect for 50 years in the 16th century to 3 sultans, Sinan is credited with reinforcing the main dome, saving it from near-certain collapse. To the west of Sultan Ahmed is one of Sinan's greatest works. The Mosque of Suleiman the Magnificent is directly inspired by the Hagia Sophia. Sultan Suleiman I ruled over the Ottoman Empire at the height of its power in the 16th century and had his mosque built on one of the 7 hills of Constantinople, with a magnificent view of the city and the Golden Horn. Viewed from the waterway, the mosque is truly impressive, especially at night. The side of the mosque contains the wudu and a spacious courtyard ringed by beautifully ornate colonnades that leads to the entrance where visitors remove their shoes. Inside, the resemblance to the Hagia Sophia is clear. Smaller than its archetype, the light from the 100 windows makes it feel much more spacious. Adjacent to the mosque, the Mausoleum, or Turbe, of Suleiman is another of Sinan's works. Inside, 7 sarcophagi reside, Suleiman's and 6 other family members. The Turbe next to Suleiman's belongs to Hürrem Sultan. Born in eastern Poland and taken as a child slave by Crimean Tatars, she rose through the ranks of Suleiman's harem, eventually becoming the first Ottoman woman to be elevated to the rank of Sultan, the most powerful woman in Ottoman history. Walking east from Suleiman's mosque, you reach the crowded streets of the main shopping district, home to the nearly 600-year-old Grand Bazaar. Walking through the 61 covered, maze-like, interconnected streets containing over 4,000 shops, you can see goods of all kinds. Clothing and other textiles, food and spices, housewares and jewelry. We even updated our wedding bands. Up to 400,000 people visit the Bazaar daily. The Spice Market, or Egyptian Bazaar, is a short walk away. Less than 100 shops line a single street. It's a smaller, less chaotic alternative to the massive Grand Bazaar. Topkapi Palace was our favorite site in all of Istanbul. Perched on the tip of Europe, on one of Constantinople's 7 hills, it overlooks the Bosphorus and the Golden Horn. Construction began in 1459, 6 years after the Ottoman conquest of the city, and was the Sultan's official residence for 300 years. Today, it's a public museum. The location is the site of the Acropolis of the original Greek city of Byzantion, which dates from the 7th century BCE. Greek and Roman cisterns can still be seen. Heading through the Gate of Salutation, you enter the second courtyard. The harem is to the left, the Gate of Felicity ahead, and the imperial kitchens to the right. The kitchens are arranged in a long row, and one area is now a cafe that makes a great place to rest while exploring the palace. The Tower of Justice, the tallest structure in the palace, can be seen across the second courtyard. It is located between the harem and the imperial council rooms, the domain of the Grand Vizier from where he administered the daily issues of the empire. The Sultan could check in on the council unseen from this golden-grilled window. Only rarely would the Sultan make an appearance. The harem, a word derived from hidden, sacred, or forbidden, is where female imperial family and slaves lived, including the Sultan's mother, wives, and concubines. Male eunuch slaves also lived there. The multi-room complex includes residences, and baths for all, including the Sultan. The Imperial Hall is a multi-purpose room for guests, parties, and festivals. It's also where the Sultan would relax with his family, and the women of the harem would entertain themselves and their children. Finally, the harem courtyard provides outdoor access and privacy, with an impressive view of the Golden Horn and Galata Tower. At the far end of the second courtyard, the Gate of Felicity is the entrance to the inner court, the heart of the palace and private domain of the Sultan. The first building beyond this gate is the audience chamber. Surrounded by ornate columns, the Sultan would hold formal state audiences in the main throne room. Inside photos were not permitted, but the throne was truly imperial. Behind the audience chamber, the Indaroon Library housed more than 3,500 manuscripts on theology, Islamic law, and other scholarly works in Turkish, Arabic, and Persian. Photography was banned in the remainder of the palace interior, but the artifact collection was amazing for military and religious history buffs. The gardens of the inner court are impressive, as is the view of the Bosphorus and the Asian side of Istanbul. That concludes our exploration of Istanbul and the historic Constantinople. There are more explorations of Turkey to come, so until next time, teşekkürler.